Hey everybody, welcome back to Trinity Dairy. It's July 23rd, 2025. You can see it's pretty cloudy. They're talking storms today. There's been pop-up storms pretty much every day. So it hasn't really been haymaking weather. It's really humid. It's like 95% humidity, so it's not going to dry anyhow. So we haven't been doing much haymaking. Got a few other projects. I think this video is just kind of be all over the place. Maybe we'll do some crop checks. Look at the corn, look at the oats that are left, the alfalfa, the new seeding, some of that stuff. But I also got a couple things we'll go over with some projects on the farm, stuff we're fixing. One of them will be the New Holland round baler. I started tearing that apart, and I think I am going to fix it regardless if we get a different baler or not. I'm going to get it fixed because it's too good of a baler to just scrap out, I think, yet. So yeah, we've had it since new, so I know what it's had done to it and what it hasn't. We still do have that little international baler, but I just didn't use it that day because I would have had to go all the way back home, get it set up. And a friend of mine, he had borrowed it that day anyway, which I still could have got it when he was done. But the other friend of mine that came and baled, he lives right down the road, and he was actually just finishing a field and heading home anyway, so that worked out. It worked out great. And I also want to thank him for doing that. I forgot that totally in the last video. So I want to give a shout out to Tim and thank him for baling that for me, because it was such a hectic day. I never even thought of it. We were doing all kinds of stuff, so I wanted to make sure I got that in there. So the New Holland baler will show what we found on that. But one other thing, we'll flip around. I finally tore my manure pump apart in the barn. If you've been following the channel quite a while, you know the whole story with that. If you're new to it, there's a whole bunch of videos back on it. The main gist of it being, so towards the beginning of when we started our channel, the manure pump, we had a big breakdown. We jetted the line, it wasn't working. We wound up digging up the line. It was broken under the barn. So we replaced the whole pipe from the pump in the barn out to the lagoon. So that's all brand new, that's all been replaced. Worked a couple years perfectly. All of a sudden one day it wouldn't pump out. Tried jetting the line, couldn't jet it. It was plugged in the barn right at the bottom of the pump in the sleeve there. So pulled that out, did a whole bunch of stuff. There's some videos on that. We got it to work last winter for a while, but we could tell that the sleeve inside, that the piston, we have a piston pump. I'll kind of show you that in a minute. There's a piston pump, so the piston goes in and out inside of a sleeve, and then there's a door on the end of that sleeve that is supposed to close and let it build pressure. Well, it looked like that was all worn out in there. You could see gaps and stuff. So we got that sleeve pulled out. I did not get any video of pulling it out because it was dark in there. You couldn't see much. So we'll turn around here and we'll show you what we found. All right, so here is kind of the two main components of that manure pump. So this block here, basically, this is the plunger. This is the piston that hooks. There's a longer set of arms that go up and they hook to the gearbox, and this goes back and forth inside of this sleeve. And there's a door in here that opens and closes so when it comes back, this opens, fills with manure, and when it pushes down, that closes and it pushes the manure down. So this sleeve sits down inside the concrete, basically. It's inside another steel tube, but it's all encased in concrete. And this is the door on the end, so when it pushes down, this opens, and then it can close again, so any back pressure is built on there. So it can keep building pressure if it needs to, and it also keeps it from backflowing into the barn. So what has happened here is I thought this was worn through because I saw like this groove here. I thought the door was worn. I also seen a space up here. Well, what's happening, so the box of this, the bottom and the two sides are one piece of steel that is bent. So that's just one piece bent into a trough, and the top is welded on. And you can see this side, the weld has separated, and actually on the other side it's even worse. It is really separated here, which has caused one leak in itself. Of course, It might not have been spread quite this far because it does sit in a box. I don't know how much clearance it has in there. It obviously has to have some because you got to have room for all that. But and then also what that does with this being up, it kinks this door, so the bottom has got a big opening over here, and it also makes this opening quite a bit wider because this door is supposed to have these tabs so it can close, and these will touch against the sides to hold it from going back in. So it wasn't worn through, but it definitely damaged. So I'm going to take this to a welding shop today because you can't get a new one anymore. They don't even make them. I did some calling and contacted a dealer that used to deal these. They didn't have anything in stock, and they called a few other ones, and they're not not available. So have to have one made. And I don't know, I'm going to talk to the welding shop and see what they think. I mean, you could probably weld this back together, maybe put a new door on it, and it would probably be good, but I don't know. We'll see. I might just, as long as it's out, I think maybe it's better to just have them make a new one and just get the whole thing replaced. These edges here, you probably saw these were smashed down because to get this out, we had a chain hook to each one of these holes, which is what they're for, with a chain hoist coming up, anchored up top, and then you can't hit it from the backside, so you have to try to jar it. So we had basically a pounder that I made would fit over this, and we just kept hammering on it to get it to jar loose, and it finally came. This iron here is actually another thing that I'm going to have replaced. There's two of these, and they rest, the bottom of them rests against here, and then there's bolts way up at the top of the pit this sits in to keep pressure on this to keep it down inside the hole. So this has never been out until now. So I mean, I think this was put in like 82 or 83, so it's been in there plenty long. But yeah, it looks like the weld just failed. So we'll get this up to the shop today and yeah, see what they think. But I think it's probably a better idea to just have it replaced, because I can even see, you can kind of tell there's pretty good lip here where that piston rubs, where this would be substantially thinner. So you'd either have to have an insert welded in here, and maybe that's the thing to do too, is just there is quite a bit of room around this piston, so maybe they could just make a whole insert that would slide into there and weld it up and keep the outside the same. I don't know, we'll see what they think. They know a lot more about metals than I do, and you know what would be the best thing to do, but we'll talk it over with them. But you can even see down below there how much gap is in there, so that's not going to hold any pressure in the pipe at all. So I think once we get this fixed, that's going to cure our problems. And this piston, some of you might say, well, you should get that rebuilt or replaced too, but the piston actually has been replaced not too terrible long ago. It's not the original piston. It's been changed with a newer one. So but the sleeve has never been out. So anyway, that's kind of what's going on there. We'll keep you updated on that. I don't want to do a whole bunch more videos on that manure system because there's been plenty of them done already, but I know some of you have been asking. And as far as that other pump that I bought, that vertical pump that we were going to put in there, with being in the summertime, the cows are able to go out all the time, so I'm going to try to just get this done and not have to even pump the manure out, because there won't be much, because getting that other pump all set in there just for a temporary thing is going to be a big job. I'm still going to keep it around in case I ever do need it or something happens where this doesn't work. But if I have to pump water out of there, I can still use the trash pump. But for right now, we're going to try to just get this fixed and get it back in and get it operational. Well, now we're at the New Holland baler. If you didn't see before, a couple videos back, the baler broke down. We had a shaft break. Now, initially I had thought I couldn't remember for sure because we've had this apart before, but I thought the end was a separate piece, but it's not. So this shaft goes all the way through there. So this whole shaft is going to have to be replaced. It has the big main drive belts on pulley on the other side, and it drives straight through, and then it's got sprockets on this side that drive the clutches and everything. And so I was tying the bale, and all of a sudden it started just jumping and chattering, and never did shear the pin. But yeah, so we shut it down and dumped the bale out, and I started tearing it apart the other day. To get the rest of the shaft pulled out, I have to take it out of the shed and lift the back gate up to get pressure off the belts and stuff like that. But it's been thunderstorms, so I didn't want to take it out of the shed and get trapped in the rain. But I can show you what this looks like. So here's where that shaft would have come out, and you can kind of see the broken off end of it in there. The only thing it really did here is this, it kind of, I suppose when it slammed up, it bent this out a little bit, which I don't really think is a big deal. I can probably hammer it back in a little bit, but the bearing actually sits out here on another plate, so this really is just an opening for the shaft to come through. And if it was bent out into there, it would probably cause an issue, but I don't think it's going to cause any trouble if it sticks out a little bit here. But so here's the shaft. Yeah, and I don't know why, because the shaft gets way smaller as it goes into here. So why it really broke out here, I don't know, but it did regardless. And of course now it's got a little bit of surface rust on it, but you can still kind of see. So it looks like there was a break here, this first part, and then from like here to here was like a second color of breakage, and then this half moon up here was where it broke the last. So I think some of this had actually been cracked for quite a while. So yeah, I'm just going to get a shaft. I know I actually had somebody that commented that had one of these balers for parts that I could get the shaft out of, and I actually have even found a couple other parts, ones around here too. So I think I'll be able to find a shaft and get it swapped out, put new bearings in it. The sprockets that are in here are not very old, so I'm just going to leave them. But yeah, I think it'll be better to just replace the whole shaft, because it could be damaged at that end too, since it kind of slammed up a little bit. So I think that's going to be okay, and I think probably not too terribly bad of a fix. But we just got to get it out of the shed and get it ripped apart the rest of the way. Hey everybody, it's a few days later. Trying to figure out how I wanted to do this video. I was going to do some crop checks, but been pretty busy. We've been making some hay and some different stuff, so I haven't had time to really go do that. And then on Friday we ran down to Hutchinson, Minnesota for the Orange Spectacular. Had a great time down there, met a lot of fans of the channel. Got to visit with J&L Videos for a while. That was pretty cool. If you're not familiar with them, check out their channel on YouTube. Farm with a bunch of old Allis equipment. Pretty neat. Some of it's not even so old. It's pretty nice stuff. Some big equipment even. So if you're not familiar with them, check them out. Give them a like and subscribe. So yeah, that was a fun day. Just got to see a lot of cool stuff. Spent the day, me and Jen and the two older boys went down there for the day and had a real good time. And then on the manure pump sleeve, I got that done. Or it's not done, it's not in yet, but I got a new one made really fast. I brought the old one to the welding shop, and he's kind of looking at it. He didn't think he could bend the one piece in his machine, but so he thought he was going to have to send that out, but wound up that he was able to bend it. So he actually got it bent up and made right away the next day. I brought it in one morning. He called me the next morning, it was ready. So we'll spin you around and show you what that looks like and go over that. And then I think Jen's got some footage from the Orange Spectacular she's going to throw in here. Well, here we go. So these are the two angle irons that run down the corners that hold the sleeve in. I had them make those two. They did a beautiful job on them. They're cut. I don't know if it was necessary that they had to be, because initially I thought they were just regular angle irons, but they're kind of taper cut both ways. So I thought, well, I had to have angle irons put in there anyway, so I might as well have them, just make them like the old ones were, as long as I had the old ones for a pattern. So that'll be nice to have those. And the new one, they did an awesome job on that. So just like the original, the sides and the bottom are all one piece that's just bent, and then the top is welded on. And they didn't think they were going to be able to bend this in their machine. They didn't think it was quite big enough, but he was able to get it done, so that's why they got it back so fast. He didn't have to send it out. If they weren't going to be able to do it, and if they weren't going to be able to get their supplier to do it, we were going to have to just fix this one and weld the top back down and try to patch it up a little bit and go for it. But he was able to get it done, so that's awesome. They did a great job on this thing. The door, I mean, it seals up just perfect, just like the original one would be. New pins, everything in there, so that's terrific. The piston, I did not have them do anything with that. Like I said, I think that I said before that piston had been, I replaced that, so it's not an original piston, where that sleeve is original. So that's pretty much complete there yet, that piston, so I wasn't too worried about that. And the piston, that's, if something were to happen to that where you need to get it out of there, that's pretty easy to pull out. Not like the sleeve. That was quite a job. I probably should have got some video of pulling that out, but just not able to see in there. So it is what it is. Now I got to get the hole cleaned out good, so that sits back down in there nice and flat to the bottom like it's supposed to, and hopefully we'll be back in business, because once this sleeve is put in, from the sleeve out to the lagoon is all brand new. So yeah, that should be good to go. Hopefully I'll probably wind up having the line jetted again once I got to get the lagoon emptied so we can get out to the end. But I think that's something that I might do maybe every year or every couple of years, just have that line jetted to break loose any dirt buildup and stuff in there, and some of the kind of the low spot in that line. So but anyway, I just wanted to get you showing that. Once we get it in, I might try to get a little footage of putting it in, and we'll see how that goes. But now we'll go look at some orange equipment.
So where are we, Justin? You're not excited at all, right?
I'm super excited.